Well done, Lance. Mornings with Richard Cross in SuperTalk, Mississippi. I'm Scott Sands. Dr. Lance Evans is joining me. He's the Superintendent of Education in the state. It's nice to meet you, sir. Thanks for coming on today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. It's
I
hard.
heard you
It's hard to
talking with
listen to that
Lance off
song and not.
air.
It's hard to listen to that song and not smile, isn't it?
It brings back so many memories. I
And
heard you talking with
that's
Lance, and it looks like you're ready for golf today.
trying. Well, it'll be this weekend. Planning on playing a golf tournament with my son in Pontotoc. If it doesn't rain us out, they're predicting some rain, so hopefully it'll hold off.
We were talking about my horrible golf game earlier today. I played yesterday, played 9 holes, and I have not improved in 20, 25 years of playing. So bad. Love to play, though.
Yeah, it is. It's like I tell people though. I don't get paid to do that. That's for enjoyment. It's even though it's
Right.
frustrating at
So,
times.
so Dr. Evans, you've been in this role for, less than 2 years now, and you took over with a lot of challenges in the
Mm-hmm.
state.
Yeah, we come actually this July the 1st will be the 1 year anniversary, if you will, of the position. And we did have some challenges, but the great thing is in Mississippi we overcome most any challenge that someone puts before us, and a lot of it was just there wasn't necessarily some consistency there. And we were able to come in and put that in place and know that there's going to be longevity in the position, and it's been great because it's a department we've moved really fast. I'm that type of a person, pretty impatient, like to go fast, and it's been just a great experience. It took a couple of it takes a couple of months to kind of get the flow of things because it is different in an agency, state agency versus a district. There's tremendous differences there is how the daily operations work, but it's been really, really good. We found our groove after about 2 months, and we've been rolling full speed.
I was talking about the so-called Mississippi Miracle on Wednesday when I sat in for Gerard. The state is number one in the nation for improvements in grade reading and math over the last 10 years, I believe. What's allowed that growth to happen so quickly? Has it been specific policies? Obviously, you're inheriting a lot of those initiatives as well, but
hmm
how would you credit that success?
So I would say the Literacy-Based Promotion Act, 2013. I tell people Mississippi got really serious about education. Not that we weren't serious before, but we got really serious about measuring and ensuring outcomes, and put a coaching model in place from our the one that obviously we're most known for as a state is the literacy coaching model. Our goal is to build capacity of teachers. We're not we're not our model is not geared up around tutoring. Districts do that in their districts, but like I said, we're geared up around building the capacity of the human beings that are teaching our students. And one other thing I'll say is I think really attributed to a lot of this work is that where a lot of states were going towards choice, Mississippi said, no, we're going to put those dollars in our public educators instead of pushing it that direction. And that really's paid off. I mean, I think you can see that commitment from our legislature back years ago, and that's still that commitment that we have towards public education is really paying off because it helps provide the resources that we need in order to be successful in our schools across the state.
You mentioned teachers. When you took over the position, I believe the state had a teacher shortage of about 5,000 educators. It's a challenge not just in Mississippi, but around the country to
hmm
recruit teachers. How do you address that problem?
It is so a couple of ways, and you are absolutely correct. That's not a problem. This is proprietary just to Mississippi. We see that nationwide. Uh, Obviously, continuing to stay at the forefront of teacher pay is a huge part because obviously it doesn't come down to money, but people obviously have bills and the cost of living goes up. So we have to continue to keep pace there. It's very important. Another thing is making sure that we're working with our teachers earlier in their career. So there's a couple of initiatives at the department that we've put in place. One that we're working through right now is the department having the opportunity to be more involved in that junior senior year of our students that are in our universities. Uh, one of the things that I have a real issue with is, um, and again, not to be negative towards anyone choosing to go to another state, but I really have issue with our universities training our teachers here, them going through our programming here, and then being recruited by other states because it turns into a recruitment process, and lots of times when when we're younger, it also does come down to dollars and decision making sometimes. So making sure that we're able to get access to them earlier and build those relationships to help keep those teachers here. Because it's when you're in a tough spot anyways from having certified teachers, and then we start bleeding them off to surrounding states, it hurts. It hurts the bottom line, if you will, not necessarily financially, from the bottom line as far as like the number of teachers that we have, our students have
Well,
access to.
yeah, well, not to confuse. I mean, the cost of living is low in Mississippi compared to other states, but also without an income tax, that may be an incentive to keep people in the state as well as that moves forward.
That the potential is there. Yes, sir.
Dr. Lance Evans here on SuperTalk Mississippi. I think another important number, a statistic that's not getting the attention it deserves as you talk about the literacy and math rates in the state is the graduation rates reaching, I believe, an all-time high, nearly 90% in the last year that I saw. What are you doing to ensure graduates are college ready, career ready, whichever the path they choose to take?
Yeah, and I'm proud you brought that up because we've been outpacing the nation for, don't quote me on this, but the last 2 years, 3 years, I'd have to look at the graphic again to remind myself. But honestly, that's a testament directly to the districts and finding ways to be nimble and flexible and making sure we're meeting the needs of our students. But we have to continue to find ways, I have a saying, I call it creating pathways of success with no dead ends for all students. Because we all, the ultimate goal is entering the workforce, and also staying in Mississippi and being productive and contributing back to society and helping build the state. But students, you have the students who want to leave from high school to go directly into the workforce, those that want to leave and go to the community college and then into the workforce and then the community college and right to the university and the students at the university. And we have to make sure that we're creating viable pathways and a systematic process across the entire state because we have great things happening across our state. We have more innovative things that are happening in pockets, and that's one of the reasons we created the Office of School and District Transformation is to help leverage that across the state to make sure that we're creating the programming because MDE has to work to stay relevant because we're a local control state. Our districts make the decisions for themselves. They have boards, obviously, but we have to create the programming and help steer the ship. And one of the ways that we do steer that ship is through the accountability model, which obviously, that's always at the forefront of most conversations. Politically, obviously, it seems like it's always on the top three list as well. But coming back to those the literacy gains and math gains, we have seen that great success in fourth grade and also have seen success in eighth grade. We have not seen the success we would like to see. So what you'll see moving forward is an extension of the Literacy-Based Promotion Act to include a 4 through 8 literacy. I have a meeting today to finish working out some of the final decision making pieces in it, and we'll be bringing that, looking for legislation, and it will mimic similarly that of the K-3 Literacy-Based Promotion Act with the coaching model, but it looks a little different because obviously it's fourth through eighth grade, so that approach has to look a little different, and also integrated K through 12 math reform, which that will have a focus particularly more than likely in grades 2 through 6. And that's based on just looking at the assessment data that we have across our state and seeing what the greatest areas of need are. So you'll see there's already one that's taking place from a math standpoint, but it'll be much more targeted moving forward.
So there's been a lot of talk nationally about eliminating the Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Education. So how are you preparing to maintain funding, accountability? I believe, and check my numbers on this, I think Mississippi gets about $240 million for low-income students, maybe about $130 million for special ed. How do you make up for that shortfall if the DOE goes away?
Well, I don't know that it would completely go away. I think the shock and awe of that statement, obviously draws attention to the conversation. I do think that just based on the experiences that I've had, I do think there'll be some level of oversight, if you will.
Yeah, I don't think the money goes away completely. I think it's just reallocated differently, and states are given more control over that funding.
Yeah, and usually, most likely in the form of block grants that might come to the states. There really has right now, the conversation from federally around dollars has been around the ESSER dollars and the late liquidation and the withdrawing of that, that ability to late liquidate those dollars. So that has been a huge issue in our state because that's about 137, 138 million that we were guaranteed that late liquidation has been pulled back from. But we are definitely, if they were to say, "Hey, we're flipping the switch off at USDE," and you got a week to figure it out, I feel as though we at the department would turn it over and we would be scrambling. And we're in the process of we've had those conversations, but you really
Right.
don't know exactly what that looks like because they haven't given enough guidance yet.
You
But I
can
feel
stick around for
confident
another
we would
segment. I
be.
got some more
Yeah.
questions.
All right. Sure.
All right,
Absolutely.
Dr. Lance Evans, Superintendent of Education. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi, streaming everywhere at supertalk.fm. I'm Scott Sands. Richard's back on Monday. It's Mornings with Richard Cross. Scott Sands here. You can find me on X at Scott Sands Media. Dr. Lance Evans, the Superintendent of Education for the state, is joining us this morning. Dr. Evans, this is something that's growing in popularity, for lack of a better word, around the country. I think 15 states so far have enacted laws banning or restricting cell phone use in schools. In Mississippi, you got a lot of districts that have their own policies. There's been some action in the legislature, although nothing's been done yet to ban cell phones. I have mixed feelings on this. I understand parental concerns about being able to contact kids, but I think especially social media has been so harmful, not just for the youth, but for all of us who are on social media quite frequently, that taking that distraction away might be good for the educational experience, but also for mental health in schools.
Yeah, actually, I think I saw yesterday or the day before where Alabama, I think, signed some legislation into place to ban cell phones. And you're absolutely correct. There was a book really that got a lot of the conversation started called the title of it's the anxious, excuse me, generation. Can't talk this morning, but and it really got a lot of those conversations started. And we had both legislation on both the House and the Senate side this year that it died. Obviously, don't know if any of that will be brought back up in the special session that we anticipate will happen sometime towards the end of May, hopefully. So, in the beginning of that conversation statewide, I was kind of like you. I was kind of on the fence, if you will. But I've got several advisory groups, student advisory groups, teacher advisory groups, principal advisory groups, and superintendent advisory groups. And I'll tell you the consensus, I really listen to those students and those teachers because they're the ones I always say at the end of the day, they're the ones that make it happen. When the door shuts, they're the ones that have to pull all this off. And there's a lot of issues. And I did not realize how strongly many of our teachers felt about it. But you are right. Districts have their own policies currently, and some are very restrictive. Can't be there, period. Doesn't matter. End of the day, beginning of the day. And then some have and what seems to be kind of the consensus of what districts do is out of sight type deal, so it could be on your person. And this is what years ago, this is how it was anyways. When I was an elementary high school principal, it was hey, keep it in your bag, keep it turned off, because after school, if you're young, you got to be picked up. Parents need to know where you are. But obviously the world has evolved to, and let's be honest, we talk about it just being a student issue, but you alluded to this earlier. It's as much of an adult issue. It is anything else with the social media piece, and even just the phone in general. I tell people if I lose my phone, we're locking the building down till we can find it, because it's such a it's such a connection, right, to work and it's just it's a huge shift of culture to take that away, because
I'm older than you, Dr. Evans. There are times where I wish we would have had social media and smartphones when I was in high school. I would have more memories saved that I could look back on, but also the distractions. And I've talked to a lot of kids that are dealing with the same issue, and they're opposed to losing their cell phones in schools as it's being discussed. But once it's been implemented, it's almost like it's a relief that they don't have to worry about that at that point, and they begin to appreciate the fact that they don't have access to their phones during school hours.
Yeah, and a lot of the students, what I've heard is very similar to what you just said. I mean, it's not that they don't want to not put it away during instructional time. I think it's like it's a safety net, basically. That's the way I see it. And they know that because they know they can get access to someone or something if they need it. Which, I remember the days when I was growing up. I'm 47. I remember the days when I was growing up to where it was nothing but a payphone. And if you needed to get a hold of somebody when you were at school, you had to go beg. You had to beg the office.
Right. You make a
collect
call to your
call.
mom.
Yeah.
Collect call from mom. Pick me up at the skating rink.
Yeah, yeah. But there was in the little town, the little town I grew up in had one payphone. So if you were out and about, there was always a line at the payphone. So,
Dr. Evans, great to have you on. I appreciate your time, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And Lance, thank you. That's going to wrap it up for me today. My name is Scott Sands. It's great to be back on the radio in my home state of Mississippi. You can find me on X at Scott Sands Media. I'll actually be filling in for Gerard again next week, and Richard, I think, next Friday.
Man, you can be busy. You're not going to have enough time. You're not going to have a lot of golf time next week.
No, I still got my Thursday 9-hole golf league where we don't keep score. And
I
that's
love the
just
9-hole. That's about my speed, right now.
That's,
9 holes, I got you.
Isn't that that's the perfect amount of time?
Yeah.
And I love playing in some of these scrambles, but you get a scramble where you got 100 teams competing, and it takes you 8 hours to play a round of golf. That's just ridiculous.
Well, I'm wishing Dr. Evans and his son a very wonderful round tomorrow, and I hope they are victorious. I think he's the putter of the group, and the son may be the long hitter. So we'll be rooting for you guys, Doc. But, hey, great job today, man. It's always fun to see you and be a part of this.
And thank you to Will and Cammie and Alex and you, Lance, and everybody at SuperTalk Mississippi for inviting me on. And thanks to Richard for letting me sit in and ruin his 3-hour reputation on Friday mornings. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you with Gerard next Wednesday. Meanwhile, you can find me on all the social medias. Have a great Friday and a great weekend. Stay safe, everybody.